Alright. Just... Alright. We are properly live now. So, yeah, let's get started. So, basically, the plan for today is to get neuroquantum processors done, which should actually be easy because I'm breaking the rules a little bit, my self-imposed rules. I'm breaking my self-imposed rules today, so we're just going to try to get a bunch of production lines done. So neuroquantum processors, we are going to be yoinking the supercomputers from elsewhere, and also maybe the trigons. Let's actually see. The fixed site is way over here. Is it that dismantle crate? No, not that one. Is it that one? No. It's more like... There's a dismantle crate over there, but it's definitely southeast. So we're going to head over there and investigate how many fixed-site trigons we are actually making. And hopefully the answer is considerably more than 15. It's not a huge issue if it's not. They're pretty easy to make. But it would save a fair amount of time and effort. So basically, the way I've been doing it so far is everything is made from the ground up with like basic resources. So if there's anything that requires iron, I'm getting iron ore, not like, you know, reinforced plates or anything like that. And the reason I've been doing this is mostly because it makes everything a lot less interconnected and a lot less likely to unexpectedly break other things. However, it also means I have to do a lot of the work over and over and over again, and we're pretty much right near the end. So I think as long as I'm careful-ish, I should be able to do this without breaking anything, and it should all work out just fine. So we are going to be basically importing things from previous factories for this. So this makes 22.5 trigons a minute. First of all, let's get this hooked up to a sink because it should have been from the start. And find a power pole for the sink. Wait, no, not a regular splitter. Yeah, I'm sure nothing will break. Like, there's honestly so few things left to produce that it's pretty much like anything that I'm importing, I'm only using for one additional thing. So it should be fine. Alright, so we have 22.5 fixed-site trigons here. And the problem is I do not know if this factory actually runs at 100% efficiency. So we're going to have to check. I'm going to have to work backwards to figure that out. So everything is obviously still starting up. But that has 22.5 reanimated SAM and 30 Caterium ingots. So that's 30 Caterium ingots, assuming the Caterium supply is good enough, which it should be. That's only 15 reanimated SAM. per machine. So that's 30, 60, 75. Some of which is going this way. How much is going this way? At 23.7. It's a weird number, but okay. This is still filling up. We'll hook it up to a sink as well. And set left to overflow, and this won't become relevant for quite a while. But at some point that will keep this running. It's currently running at 100%, which is good. Alright, so I've done a good once over, and I'm fairly certain, I'm reasonably confident that everything here should be capable of going at 100% capacity over there. Which means we should be good to steal most of it. Actually, hang on. Fixite trigons might be one of the things that are used multiple times elsewhere. Are they used here? Let me actually check. Satisfactorycalculator.com. What a website. Game resources. Items. Fixite ingot is used to make fixite trigons, which are used for conveyor belts and quantum encoders. Nor quantum processor, biochemical sculptor. Alright, so yeah, it's just this thing I'm building right now, and a thing for project parts, which is not something I'm worried about. So, with that in mind, we can put another smart splitter on here and say center is overflow, right is any, and then get a drone port here. Alright, and this is a source, so I need 2 drones. Actually, there's a fuel source over there, right? Yes, there is. So I can take this fuel and see, it'll be easier to split it off over here. And bring this over to there, I guess. That makes sense to put it. And you get up on the foundation and into the fuel input. Get rid of the random tree. And now we take this conveyor belt and wrap it around over there. And let's see. Hook that up. We call this fixite trigon. Is that how you spell fixite? Yes. Trigon source. Being fed by fuel, and it doesn't need a drone because it's a source. So that's that setup. Actually, while we're here, we need reanimated Sam, right? Alright, so we have this stuff. How much Sam actually is this? I have to go on a bit of a field trip to find out. It is down here, below this giant cliff. And into the dark, spooky cave. Have the monsters respawned in this cave? Looks like no. That's cool. Alright, so please give me velocity, thank you. So we can run over and check this, and it is 300 of this minute. This is just regular old Sam. And I think we're using all of it. Kind of disappointing that that is an impure node. Alright, are we using all of this for these factory lines? Let's see here, we have 60, 120, 240, 300. Yes, so this is the total amount of reanimated Sam we have access to here. And it is 30, 60, 75. And if we hop over here, this is using 23.7 reanimated Sam. And if we hop over here, this is using 22.5. So altogether, they're using like 46. Which means that this is a useful source of reanimated Sam. There is some overflow. So we have to be... I guess... we have to be a little bit careful that it won't throw off the splitting. So I think we make this a smart splitter. We go center any left overflow, so that will always get everything it needs. Then we put that belt in, and then we put another splitter, another smart splitter there, which is again center any, this time right overflow. So that will get everything it needs of what's remaining. And then finally, any spare reanimated Sam will go on this belt here. And move over to a drone port. Alright, so that has to go up and over. So we put the second drone port in. Then we have to split that into the fuel. And that goes into the input. And we power it on. We call this reanimated Sam source. And there we go. We now have that as well. Which means now we can head over to the supercomputer factory And from there, we can finish off the... From there, we can basically just finish off the neural quantum processors by just importing a bunch of stuff, hooking a couple pipes in, and then being good to go. So we're going to stop off. We're going to stop off at the main base, and then take another hypertube cannon from there to the supercomputer factory. Uh-oh. Somehow I took a lot less damage from that than I expected. Alright, so let's fly the rest of the way over. And I can see the hypertube cannon in the distance. And we hop into this one. And we head southeast. And here it is right there. Get enough height to be able to see decently well over the cliffs. Alright. Oh, this is fused modular frames. The supercomputers is that one. Whoopsie. Alright. So that little mix-up means this is going to take a bit longer to travel than I expected. But it is still right here. So we cruise on over. And I seem to see a whole lot of yellow. Hopefully that's just because it's full and not because it's broken. Nope, it's because it's broken. Oh, wonderful. Well, let's see. It's the computers that are broken, which is this line, conspicuously empty. Alright. And you are broken because plastic is missing. Plastic is this line here. I feel like I fixed this before just recently. Has the same problem happened again? Alright, then we take this conveyor belt down and plastic. So there's no rubber there. There's no rubber there. So why is the rubber missing? No polymer resin. I am having the strongest sense of deja vu. I could have sworn I fixed this problem before. And obviously, whatever my fix was, did not work. So why are you not producing polymer resin? Oh, yes, it's this. It's this thing again, with the heavy oil residue. So this is making 14.43. Alright, I need to bring up the supercomputer factory layout. Let's see here. So this recipe is making primarily polymer resin. this recipe is making primarily heavy oil residue. The heavy oil residue has backed up, causing the stoppage. Is the problem in these machines or in the future? Let's see here. The polymer resin is supposed to be making 93.844 polymer resin and 14.438 heavy oil residue, so that's correct. The heavy oil residue is supposed to be making 10.313 heavy oil residue and 5.156 polymer resin, which it is, so that's correct. In other words, the problem is the heavy oil is not being used fully. So yeah, I mean, any inefficiency here. This machine is idle because there is too much fuel. Which is idle because there's not enough rubber. Yes, it was this whole loop. This is 49.5 fuel. 49.5 is precisely the correct amount of fuel. And let's see, the recycled plastic is one full machine in one machine at 65%. The total amount of plastic is supposed to be 64 plus 28 is 84, 90. It's supposed to be 99 plastic total. And it is 99 plastic total. But so yeah, and this machine isn't running because it isn't getting enough rubber. But that machine isn't running because it... So this whole thing is basically a loop, and the loop has failed. So it's also possible that the problem emerges from outside this loop. So it is, so let's see, this plastic just outputs up the line. The fuel doesn't do anything else. The heavy oil doesn't do anything else. The polymer resin doesn't do anything else. Okay. So last time I looked at this loop, I just made the ratios correct down to the thousandth and emptied out the excess fuel and heavy oil and assumed that would be enough. Clearly it was not. So, in order to fix that... So if all the ratios on all these machines are exactly correct, and yet still there is too much heavy oil and not enough polymer resin, are these machines set up correctly, I guess? Yes, those are the ones we just checked. These ones are the ones that use the polymer resin to make rubber. Are these wrong in any way? Supposed to make a total of 49.5 rubber. That's 20. That's 40. That's 9.5. Okay, so the polymer resin flowing into this is supposed to be 19 there, 40 and 40, so it should be exactly 99. Alright, so this is, wait. No, yeah, these only output solids, so it's fine for the liquid output to be wrong. These belts seem to be fast enough. So, let's think. If this loop is outputting correctly, then the plastic should split evenly amongst all those things and be fine. This loop is only being fed crude oil. Not understanding. Is water being a problem? It could be that water is a problem. So if these machines don't get enough water and aren't running at 100%, then that would mean there isn't being enough rubber produced. Instead, like 90% of the rubber produced, which would cause these machines to back up with fuel, which would cause this machine to back up with heavy oil, which would cause this machine to stop producing polymer resin, which would then cause the loop, it would cause the entire thing to collapse. So that is my working theory now as to what's gone wrong. That this water pipe isn't providing enough water. So how much water is it supposed to be? 40, 80. So it should be 99 rubber. Or 99 water here. Is that math correct? Yes. And there's a whole bunch of water going to other things elsewhere. But yeah, so they're all being fed from these three things. So that's 120, that's 240, that's 360, which should be more than enough, but could easily not be. Alright, I'm going to reboot the loop. I'm going to reboot the loop and see if there's any problems. So if I go to just any pipe along the entire network, I flush that with fuel, then this whole thing should start again temporarily. Also flush the heavy oil out. And water could also be disrupted here, causing heavy oil backups, which would cause the whole thing. Alright, let's just assume that is the case. We can upgrade the pipelines, which should at least contribute to resolving the problem. Wait, is that... Huh. So hard to tell with this stupid thing. They're tiny little pipelines, like a millimeter long in there. So let's see, that might have been the problem. So the flow rate here is, yeah, it's kind of scuffed as expected. So if that is the problem, then this whole thing will take a while to... If that is the problem and it's just like brief collapses in water production, it's going to be kind of hard to tell. But we have gotten the whole thing up and running-ish. It's still rebooting, obviously, but it's still rebooting, but we'll see if it works. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of as potentially being the problem. Now we're gonna have to wait for ages for this entire thing to, like, the entire factory is gonna have to boot back up before I determine if that is indeed the issue. Of course, if it isn't the issue and something else is, it might be apparent that it's breaking sooner than that. So I've upgraded that pipe, so there should be more than enough. Should be more than enough slack in the pipe. Let's just add some valves in to make sure everything goes the way I expect it to. So these valves will prevent backflow, basically. So everything that goes out into the devices will stay out there. And I think I read in the pipeline manual that it is good practice to have, like, this is basically a manifold, and apparently you should have the manifolds looped. So I don't know if that's what they mean by that, but I've done it. It shouldn't break anything at any rate. Alright, these machines are still... Either there is still an actual rubber shortage, or it's... I think it's probably a manifold thing at this point. So are these machines all running at full? 100%. 62% because of polymer resin. 100%. So I can't verify that this works until all of them start working at 100%. And these are using like a significant portion of the water. This is where most of the water needs to go, so it wouldn't be too surprising for it to also be where the shortage is if the water wasn't either producing enough or pumping enough to get through. So the valve limit this way. Yeah, okay. I have no idea what any of that means. Fluids are gonna fluid. Alright, so if polymer resin stacks up to 100, which hopefully it does, then it won't be too long until this is fully manifolded. Is this fully 100%? That's 100%. That's 100%. Cool. So I don't have polymer resin in the dimensional storage, so I can't actually speed up this manifolding, unfortunately. Just gonna have to sit here and wait for it to happen on its own. But in the meantime, I suppose there isn't anything stopping me from setting up the actual reason why I'm here. So this makes 1 supercomputer a minute. Let's make that 2. So now we can have a smart splitter here. And take the other one off on an expedition. And let's see, we need drones for fixite trigons. We need to make some time crystals and excited photonic matter, and then deal with the byproducts a little bit. Alright. There was a random crude oil source just floating around unused here, right? Using that one. Yeah, I think I see it over here. And apparently there are enemies here for some reason. Oh, I forgot to crouch when I first shot it, which means it is angry. Alright, I think they're getting me through the floor. Alright, so let's... I probably don't need to set up a whole new crude oil deposit for this, but I'm going to anyway. It's not really much of a problem. Let's get an oil extractor in there. And let's pump it up onto the foundation, and conveniently there's this nice open space here. for me to make oil-based diamonds and then time crystals. So I just need a particle accelerator. And set this to oil-based diamonds at 25%. And right, we need to hook these things up to power lines. Where are the power lines? Why are they so far away? Alright, so that is hooked up. And that is hooked up. And then we just have to use a converter to convert the diamonds to time crystals. That time crystal, power it on, and we only need 5 a minute. It's nice being able to do this and not worry about power, because power production is crazy. Alright, I think this is not quite enough head lift. So let's just give it a quick pump. And there we go, time crystal production started. Now we take them all the way up there, and probably even higher. Alright, so then we have to bring it onto the foundation. And I guess alright, we're gonna need to expand this foundation out a little bit. Really a lot. Take this all the way over there. So then we can get this up onto the foundation. So the supercomputers, check. Time crystals, check. We need to just get a drone port for the fixite. Let's get some space for that. Transport drone port. And what are these things even called that I'm making? Neural quantum processors. NQP fixite trigon supplier. And we have to power it on with a power pole, which is all the way over there. And we give it a drone. We tell it to go to the fixite trigon source and give it a stack of fuel. Needs more fuel apparently. Thunk. Alright, so that is that. And so fixite trigon, check. Supercomputers, check. Time crystals, check. The only thing we need now is the excited photonic matter, which is just another converter. And if I remember, they have no input. So I just need 25 of these. Power it on. And make a nice little space for a quantum encoder. Which is insanely long. Alright, quantum encoder check. So now we just take everything in. Hello? Please? Why are you like this? Alright, well that's interesting. How does one make it not do that? Alright, I'm gonna remove it and replace it. Alright, cool, that worked. Now we just have to take that belt the rest of the way in. Take this pipeline up over that belt and down in there. Neural quantum processors. So then we take these fixed site trigon, put them in there. And the time crystals, put them in there. And we power it on. And it'll figure itself out eventually. Now the only problem. Right, so now we run along to the back. And we have two outputs. We have the processors themselves and dark matter. So take the processors and let's just get some space. Yeah, storage container, conveyor belt, dimensional depot, and lift in. And then the other thing is the dark matter residue, which just needs another particle accelerator. And gosh, these things are freaking huge. Alright, particle accelerator, which gets fed the dark matter. And it goes to dark matter crystallization at a target production rate of 2.5. And then that gets powered on. And then we sink the dark matter crystals. Actually, I think there's no reason not to also store some of them. I don't think I have storage for that just yet. And then we put in a smart splitter and a sink. Boosh. And now we find power line, bring it over around there and into that sink. And we say this is set to right overflow. And then this also technically needs a sink, although it is quite possibly never going to actually happen. It's good to have it just in case. That needs to be a smart splitter, which I always forget. Right, overflow. And power you on. Alright. Everything is officially working. The fixite trigons are showing up. This needs to be underclocked to 1 a minute. So everything is working except for the supercomputers themselves. Although it does look like that is also working. So we need to set this to left any center overflow, I think. And probably want a smart splitter on here going to a sink as well, just so that it never stops under any circumstances. And this is right overflow. All right. Everything is officially moving, and this is starting up now. Alright, so that, despite looking like a thing you can land on, is in fact not a thing you can land on. Good to know. Alright, so everything is starting here. Now we just need to check if if this has started to show any problems. So this one is full. This one is still at 65% production. I guess that's because this one is still filling up. Alright. Well, hopefully that will happen relatively quickly. In the meantime, let's look at other things. Seem to be doing fine. Is this 100%? This is still only 83%. And still, because fuel is not being used. Which is still because rubber isn't showing up. Alright, well, we're gonna have to see if that fixes once this finishes being the way that it is. We'll take that conveyor belt out. And fill that up with polymer resin. So now, theoretically, that should resolve itself and we'll be able to see if we fixed the water problem or not. Because it should be pretty close. It should be not too long at all until this starts receiving full capacity. And then And then everything should be operating in steady state, I think. There's probably a way of making this more resilient. I don't really know what it is, though, so... Alright, this looks like it is good. Alright. No, not quite, but seemingly very close. Seems like it should be just about stable now, which means that this should be getting enough rubber now. I'm going to throw in a stack of rubber just to simulate it being good. Alright, so now this should be running at 100%, which means that this should be running at 100%, which means that everything should be good to go. And I am going to stick around and observe this more closely because this is the second time that this is broken. I don't want to just assume that upgrading the water pipes will have just instantly resolved it. I would like to actually verify first. This is spiking up towards 100%. So that is 100%, that's 78%. Alright, how about the water extractors themselves? You're 73%. You're 62%. You're 44%. I mean, the problem is, it's hard to tell because it isn't immediately... It's hard to tell because there's, we're not producing the precise amount of water we're using. Well, I'm going to do the thing that the plumber's manual said and make these pipeline manifolds loops. So if that is important at all, then we can fix it like that. I mean, that's just two things. Yeah, let's make it a loop. Why not? And this is the bigger one. So let's take this. Put a junction there. And loop that around like that. So yeah, maybe that'll work. We are seeing this one is climbing up to 100%. No obvious water shortage problems. And these should also be at 100% and completely full. This one is not. Why are you not completely full? 30 rubber a minute. 19.5 rubber a minute. Total should be 49.5 rubber. This is 100%. Been 100% for a while now. This is 100%. I guess we'll have to check if that's actually like stable at 93%. So also we can verify by filling that up again, and theoretically, since this whole thing is running at 100%, this rubber shouldn't ever empty. Or well, it'll empty, but it'll be immediately refilled. Let's see. 8, 9, 200. Yes, alright. That looks good to me then. I think it may have been the water problem. I'm going to assume that the water just didn't like being in Mark 1 pipes at as close to max capacity as they were. I'm just going to assume that that is the case, and that we have solved it by upgrading the main bulk of them to Mark 2 pipes. Now let's search for neuroquantum processors, and we have 8. Cool. Alright. Well, that's that. I'm going to just do one last pass. So I'm gonna head up here, confirm that this is all working properly. 100%, 98%. It's a bit odd. Alright, so yeah, you're working up your way to 99 and 100%. You are doing just fine with your supercomputers, time crystals. Everything looks to be good. Everything is good there. While I'm here, I will quickly investigate the other factories in this area. Like this is... I don't even know what this is. High-speed connectors, 100%. Wonderful. And then this is the fuel. This is the fuel setup for our drones. Quickly verify this is working. So that is 100%. That's 100%. That's 100%. 100%, 100%, 100%. Alright, all the packagers are working at 100%. The backup storage is full. The drone stop is full. Wonderful. Alright, now, hopefully that will have stalled enough that I can run back to the supercomputer loop problem and see if it is still a problem. Alright, you're 100% with no warning signs. You're 100%, and that's just your stable number of polymer resin. You're 100% and you look good. Alright, let's hop over to these machines. They're starting to fill up. Why are you filling up with heavy oil residue? This machine is 99% because of output problems. Is this not 100% efficient? You're 100%. You're 100%. Both of their inputs are entirely full as well. And yet... if I just drag that out... Does it fully empty? It does appear to fully empty before the next cycle comes through. As it should. There should not be any problems with this fuel. It's hardly any. Alright, let's do one last paranoid check of these machines, and then I think we're just going to call it good. Alright, I think we are just going to call it good. Whatever problem this had, I believe it no longer has it. And I'm going to assume it was the water shortage thing. I'll put some more coupons on here. May as well. Neural quantum processors, we're up to 14, and dark matter crystals, we're up to 32. Alright, cool. You're yellow. Why are you yellow? Because of lack of freaking computers. You're at 88%. Should be getting 4 computers a minute. This is 87% because of plastic. This is 100%. It's fine. So is this just... I'm assuming this problem is purely just hasn't quite caught up yet. And not an actual problem with plastic shortage. Because I've checked and double checked a million times, and the plastic should be good as long as it doesn't, as long as the whole system doesn't jam. And actually, is there... let me just think, is there a way of preventing this from jamming? We have fuel outputs here, which could cause the problems. So what we need is basically something that will drain the fluids out if they ever get too full. Is there a way of doing that? You could take the heavy oil residue and there's some fancy plumbing stuff you can do to basically get smart splitters with fluids. So I could do that, but I'd much rather just have it actually work. So I'm just going to say if it seizes up again, then I will be back here again. So our production of actual supercomputers is going to be deadlocked until this fills up its buffer, which is fine. I don't use too many of them. And I have another couple hundred left over. That should be good for a while. Alright. Our next mission is superposition oscillators. And they are a bit more troublesome, I think. So we need crystal oscillators and all-clad aluminum sheets. So, first of all, the aluminum production was like... Gosh, where's the actual... I cannot remember where the actual aluminum factory that makes aluminum stuff is. I think it might be... Well, it's one of these couple. So let's make a... Actually, there's no reason not to do this from higher up. Let's make a hypertube cannon heading out that way, which requires a bit of foundation and hypertube cannon. And it faces that way. We hook the power line up. And in we go. Yeah, we need to just barely clear that cliff. Now we just have to keep an eye out for something that looks like an aluminum factory. I think it was by a lake. Gosh, it would be really awkward if we fell into the stupid forest and had to... Alright. We did end up falling into the stupid forest, and now we have to find our way. Actually, this quartz line that I'm on right now is probably it, right? We're using coal and bauxite and quartz in one location. Alright, here we are. All-clad aluminum sheets. We are producing 30 a minute. And it is working at 100%, so that's nice. Now, I have no idea where all of my summer sloops went. So, I guess 30 a minute is a lot for what I use these for, which is almost nothing. So let's see. It's 45 aluminum sheets for 5 oscillators. So if I go down to 1 oscillator in the recipe, then it'll be fine. So make that a 1. So instead of a full quantum encoder, we're just using 1/5 of one. And now we just need to set up a drone stop here. So we get rid of this sink. We expand this foundation out a ways. Right, I have a hotbar for drones. So we need 2 drone ports because I need to bring in fuel for this. Right, that's 2 drone ports. This far one over here is all-clad fuel supplier. And we have to hook them up to a power pole. We'll do that. And then this one is all-clad sheet source. And so then we take the output of this one, feed it into the input of that one, and we give you a drone, and we tell you to go to the fuel source, and then grab a couple stacks of packaged fuel, send you off. Alright, so then this is the L-clad sheet source. It doesn't need to be manually fueled or given a drone. It just needs to take this belt and smart splitter. Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's not quite what I meant, but center any, and we'll say left is overflow into a sink, like it was up until just now. Alright, so that is that. We will now be providing 30-ish a minute. Right, and then we need to swap this so that's left any center overflow, so that if I end up using a lot of sheets for whatever reason, my factories don't end up getting broken. That would be bad. Alright, so now we have that. Then the next thing we need is the crystal oscillator factory, which on the list of things that I have no idea where they are is pretty high. It might be over by the power shards. I'm going to assume that's where it is and head north. Rid of a tree or two because I need to be taking off in this direction. Hyper tube cannon. Oop. Alright, and northward we go. Are you... That doesn't look like it. I genuinely have no idea where this thing is. I know I had messed around with quartz a lot along the edge of this cliff. It might be this here? Looking promising. Yes! And we make one a minute, which is a little bit awkward actually, because we need to use one a minute and I don't want to. Alright, so first of all, this production is inefficient. We are not having enough reinforced plates. We need 2.5. We are clearly not getting that. We need a total... Oh no, there are 2 oscillator manufacturers here. I don't know how I missed that. So then this will be enough once we fix the reinforced plate shortage. What is going wrong over here? Not enough regular plates. it should be producing enough, but it doesn't have enough regular plates, so let's head back to the regular plates. Not enough ingots. So I need a total of 45 iron ingots. And I'm also using iron ingots for a bunch of other things, apparently. So that is 7.2, 30, 60. So we have 97.2 iron ingot output. This side is using... Oh, math. Do I have a thing for this? No, I seem to have done this factory manually. Alright, well that's a recipe for disaster. Alright, so to recap. 30, 60, 97.2 iron ingots. And we have 12.5 plus 8.375. Plus 8.375 is 20.875. 20.875 there. And over here, and we have 12.5, 12.5, 6.125. 20.875, let's write that down. 0.5 times 2 plus 6.125. Which is 25 plus 6.125 is 31.125. 31.125. And then we have these, which are 45. It's 45 exactly. So the final total is 20 plus... So this is basically 21 plus 31. So that's 52. 52 exactly plus 45 should be 97. Is it a belt speed problem? Surely not. Are these not running at max capacity for some reason? Aha! I found the flaw. There was an internal belt. Wait, this just isn't connected at all. What on earth? Alright, so I've fixed a couple potential problems, and now iron ingot production should be good. Yeah, I mean, this is going to saturate relatively quickly now. Alright, so that's that problem solved. Now we can hop over here. And smart splitter, so center is overflow. Left is any. No awesome sync just yet. I think I may have fucked up the casings. I'm gonna have to go back there and check because I think I put a sink. So I think I put a sink in, which means that they'll never get anything. So that's awkward. Alright, we're just not going to think about that right now. Instead, we're going to think about doing it right on this line. So we need a drone port, a second drone port. We need the second one. Alright, well, we need one to feed into the output of the other. So this one is crystal oscillator fuel supplier. And it gets a drone, which I need to craft some portable miners for, of course. Let's craft some of those. And we're going to need to move the sink so that it's after the dimensional storage, basically. Because the drone setup is all before the dimensional storage, so I have to make sure the sink goes after the dimensional storage. Which is not going to be easy. It's going to be extraordinarily cramped. So get a smart splitter there, a second smart splitter there. This first one is left any center overflow. The second one is center any left overflow. So this first one goes around and feeds into the drone setup. And speaking of drones, we need to power these. And hook that up to that. This is the fuel supplier, so it needs a drone. And select destination fuel source. And we power it on. And this one needs to be named crystal oscillator source. And that will be good to go for that. Now we take this, put a sink in there, and attach that up to that. And center any left overflow. So now this all works. So it'll output first to the drone system, then to the dimensional storage, and finally, if no other option, it'll go to a sink, which needs to be powered on. Alright, now we need to head back to the sheets factory and fix that, because I 100% messed that one up. And once we're done with that, I think we can build the... I can't remember what else we need for the superposition oscillator. I think we might be able to just stick it kind of anywhere. So like, I guess I could put it by the hub, or if there's some other ingredient that I'm missing, we could put it there. Alright, so we are back here. we can get into this hypertube cannon and head down to the sheets. The all-clad sheets factory, which is somewhere. It's here. Is this it? Yes. Alright, so this is pretty unfortunate. It's because of the spacing between the machine and the output. Alright, so we have this. We might have to just, like, leave that box there and abandon it. So we need a row of 2 smart splitters. Like 1, 2. And then that's really too sharp for you. I guess we can afford a bit more space. 1 smart splitter, 2 smart splitter. So the first one is left any center overflow, and that heads to the drones. The next one is left overflow center any, and that will lead to the dimensional storage and the box, which will have to be new ones, just building around the existing ones. Alright, so then we have that there. We can take that one out and just leave that as an empty box. Alright, so this is the first one. It leads to the drone setup, but not the sink. And then we have this one, which is the second one, which leads to the sink, which... spacing, please. Alright, we can put the sink, like, over here, I guess. And so you go into there. And then you go into there. And we have this all set up properly this time. And I think we're going to have to also head over to the fuel factory and make a similar fix there. Ooh, Mercer Sphere. Oh, we were heading too fast and we missed it, and also lost some velocity in the process, so that was just terrible all around. Alright, so we get back up to this one, and then we immediately turn around and take this one down south to the supercomputer setup. So off we go. And just gently tap every so often. And here we are. So yes, we have done this backwards again. And again, the way to fix it is we're going to have to just build around the existing box. So my inventory is alarmingly full. Get this junk out of it. I need all of you. I don't need 2 stacks of every single object in the game. Get out. Get out. Alright, well, that'll do for now. So, take that down, leaving that box abandoned forever. The second smart splitter in. So this first one is... hang on. I have to think about this. So it comes out. The first place I want it to go is the drone setup. So we have center any right overflow. So now we have a second smart splitter here, which is center any left overflow. So this will be the sink, and this will be the box. Alright. Getting the belt to work properly is the easy part. Don't mess it up stupidly like I have. Alright, so that is that. And then this is the sink, which is going to need a little bit more space, I think. Please. Surface is uneven. Sinks require so much space. Alright. That is sorted. And now we just have... I guess we can just move this box into that one. And we need to power the sink on. Alright, so that should all be good to go. Did I mess that up anywhere else? The fixite trigons, maybe? I don't really care to fix that right now. I don't hardly use them for anything. A full box of those should be enough to last me for ages. I'll fix it eventually, but for now, let's go on to the superposition oscillators, which I have everything I need. So I may as well just put it down here because this is where I am. So let's make a nice big foundation. I have to call in 2 drones. Alright. Drone port number 1. And drone port number 2. So this requires superposition all clad supplier, and this is superposition crystal supplier. It's a bit more vague than I'd like, but inconveniently, superposition oscillator is actually just the name of the thing. You become a Mark III power pole, so they can bring power from you all the way over here. And then those two get hooked up. And they need drones, of course. And they need fuel, and they need to be given a destination. So you are the all-clad supplier, so you go to the all-clad sheet source. You are the crystal supplier, so you go to the crystal oscillator source. And that should be that for those two. Now we just plop down a converter. Which I guess will also be here. So you make the excited photonic matter at 25 per minute. And then right about here, we set up a quantum encoder. Why are these things so hilariously long? There's actually no reason for them to be that long. They're also pretty wide too. Alright. That should be enough space. Hopefully. Yep. Alright, so we have that. We tell you to make superposition oscillators. Power you on. And no. That's the farthest one out, so this one has to go all the way around, I think. That goes to that. That one goes to that. This one is the photonic matter, which has to go up and over to the other side. And then the last thing we need to do is set up the loop with crystallization and everything. And, oh wait, this also needs time crystals. Why do you also need time crystals? Alright, it's actually fine, and it's good that I built it here, because I have a setup producing time crystals literally right here. And I think the reason it needs time crystals is to make the feedback efficient enough to keep up the entire crystal production. Alright, let's get those machines in, and then we'll feed them the time crystals later. So we need 2 particle accelerators. Alright. I haven't been using Hoverpack this entire time, and I don't know why. I just sort of forgot that it existed as an option. Alright, let's get tons of space. So, particle accelerator number 1, check. Particle accelerator number 2, check. And one of these is dark matter trap. The other is dark matter crystallization, and actually I think it'd be marginally more convenient for this to be the other way around. So that's crystallization, that's trap. Alright, so then we take the residue, we give it some height to not conflict with the other stuff. Then we bring it back down here. And over there. And finally we Put those into that. We power those guys on. And alright, now we have to actually configure all the speeds and then bring that in. So this is clock speed 20%. This is crystallization, which is output 1.333. And this is the trap, which is output 4.667. Alright, so now we head around the back, hook their outputs up with an output manifold. Seems like it's been a while since I've actually built one of these. I normally have them just built into blueprints and stuff. Alright, so then this loops around and in. Alright, then the next step is getting the time crystals supply sped up. So I need another 2.33 time crystals from this. No, that's diamonds. This is the time crystals. Alright, so we overclock this, make it, instead of 5, 7.3 repeating. And then that means we need 14.667 diamonds. Which means we need 73 crude oil, which I'm assuming is nowhere near a problem. Yep. Alright, so now we have enough time crystals. We just head over here, put a splitter on, grab them, and this is going to cause all sorts of wonky things for both of them, for both this and the other production line, but they'll both run not quite at 100% for a while, just because it's going to take a while for these to get figured out. Alright, and now the only thing we need is to actually get some dark matter into this system. Some dark matter residue into this system first. Do I have reanimated Sam? Alright, so this doesn't need to run for very long. It just needs to run long enough that there is some in the system, and I can fix that splitting problem by just feeding these preemptively, because I do have time crystals hooked up to everything. Alright, so that should drastically accelerate the rate at which that splitting works. Meanwhile, we are good to go on dark matter residue. Just have to make sure there's enough for all of them to run all the time. The crystals are the only thing missing. So we'll let this cycle a couple more times and then shut it off. Yep. Alright. So now these will eventually produce our dark matter crystals. which will mean that this will produce our superposition oscillators. And now the only thing missing is storage container. Let's give it plenty of space, but lined up. I think that's lined up properly. If not, it's close enough. And the dimensional storage on top, and the conveyor lift between the two. And dark matter crystals are coming through. We'll see if this is actually enough dark matter residue to work. Hopefully it will be. I don't have... Where have all of my summer sloops gone? I had like 20. I do have dark matter crystals over here. They're just being produced. I could have thought about that and maybe used them. So that needs 6 a minute. How many does this produce? Only 2.5. Alright. It might have been enough to prevent me from needing to do the whole time crystal thing, but not a problem. Are both of these still running continuously? If they can run continuously until this produces more dark matter residue, we should be good to go on that front. But the dark matter will just kind of cycle. Looks like we might barely not have enough. All right, let's get that converter back in. And dark matter residue. Powered. Give you some more SAM. These are about to stop like any minute. And it's just a bit too precarious for my liking. Also, the way this is placed is incredibly cursed, but we don't need to worry about that. The important thing is more dark matter residue is being fed into this system, which means that there'll be more of a buffer for all of this to work properly. Alright. We've put an entire stack of reanimated SAM as dark matter into there. That will almost certainly be enough. Yep. Dark matter crystals looking good. It's a minute to produce one of them. It's a bit slow, but we already have one. Now let's hop over here and investigate. Neural quantum processor is working at 100%. Supercomputer is working at 100%. Obviously this is starting to back up very slowly. And then we can start actually getting more supercomputers again. We seem to have used a lot of. What are they used for? Quantum encoders and particle accelerators and minor Mark IIIs, but I haven't been doing that. Alright, now while we're here, it has been a while, so if the loop is going to be causing problems, they should at least be starting to emerge by now. That looks fine. 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 All right. This doesn't look fine, but I think that is just like that. I think that's just like that. This is running at 100%. Alright, I think that's all good to go. I think this is good to go. These drones are going to be busy for a while, bringing that stuff in. These are still down at 99%, probably just because they cycle so slowly that it takes forever them to get up to 100. This is actually at 95%. I just caught that being idle for a brief moment. Actually, I have dark matter crystals in the dimensional storage. I can jumpstart using those. There we go. So that will mean that this runs at 100% until, you know, crystal oscillators become a problem, which hopefully they won't. I don't see any drones in the sky. So we have what, half an hour until that becomes empty. Probably fine. And these two should be fine as well. If there's going to be time crystal problems, it's going to be on the other side, now that half of them are getting split off, but... Oh, Fixite Trigon is at 7 out of 15. The Trigon supplier is complaining of not enough fuel. Okay, I guess that could be a marginal issue. We will head over there and check out what exactly the problem is. I assume it isn't fuel shortage. Everything there is still green. There's no way this is going to be long enough. Let's get... Let's just extend this marginally. We're only adding one on, but that should be enough. Alright, off we go. This time we're heading all the way over to the Fixite Trigon, which is a fair bit further away. Okay, just keep tapping lightly. Alright, here's a factory. What factory is this? This is the aluminum stuff. Is it all working fine? Well, it's all heading into the drone network, which is basically working fine at the moment. And where do we have to head from here? Really quite a lot further. And that's facing the wrong way. So I guess we are just going to head there manually. So So I guess the upside of this is the time crystal production, and like the other things that are being produced should have plenty of time to equalize. Because, what should I call it? Oh gosh, that's a spider. Alright, it's jumped after me, which means it's landed way down there somewhere, which means I probably don't care about it. I will grab this Mercer Sphere, since I happen to be right here. I forgot to pay attention to how many I have now. So I think it's probably this dismantle crate is probably the destination I'm heading for. Another just random Mercer Sphere sitting alongside some radiation. That one is guarded by a spitter. Kind of don't want to bother with it. Alright, lots of heavily guarded stuff around here. And I think that is one of the lines heading to the Fixite Trigon production. I'm going to need to grab another stack of rocket fuel soon. I'm down to 8. Which should be enough for a good while, but... Alright, so that is running at 100%. This is running at 100%. And it's all being fed into this, which is being fed fuel. So why... What is the problem here? What the heck? So the other one didn't have enough fuel. Is the journey just too far for a drone to make it on a full stack of regular fuel? So these are all Mark III belts of fuel. Which should be more than enough to refill it every time. Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is. I'm just gonna grab a stack of that while I'm thinking about it. And actually, while I'm thinking about refilling, let's grab a stack of gas filters as well, getting a teensy bit low. Alright, I do not understand what the problem is. But we are going to make our way back over... It's not that I forgot to fill it up the first time. Oh, I was heading way too far north. Is it just more than a full stack of fuels worth away from the destination? Uh-oh. Please. Alright. Parachute has saved me. I was distracted thinking about other things, and I was not paying attention to how much jetpack capacity I had left, or how high I was above the ground. It was almost a disaster. Alright, so let's run back over to the hub. and then from there back down to the factory we were just at. So where's the... I'm all disoriented right now for some reason. Type 2 cannon is this way. So we hop in, and we head on over. And we just have to not accidentally die, making a bad landing. Alright, so why would you not have enough fuel for the journey? What if I give you another stack? Alright, so you're going to take off, and then you should be able to make it back here just fine. If not, I mean, I am technically at the fuel plant, so I could set up like a booster on this side. I suppose I could at some point upgrade to turbo fuel or something. There's a drone coming in for aluminum. The crystal oscillator drone showed up at some point and then immediately left. So we need to wait for the Fixite Trigon drone to return and see if it continues to have problems. And if it does, we can just put down a fuel source on this side as well. Because it might be like more than a full stack for the journey. 109 per trip. Yeah, that might be the problem. Because if it's 109 per trip, but it's only getting 100 on that side because that's how much a stack is, I could see that causing problems. You can have some, I guess, to keep yourself occupied. Meanwhile, this supercomputer production is working its way back. So it is producing 2 a minute. 1 a minute's going that way. Eventually 1 a minute will be going that way. I need to stop hiding drones on the map. Ooh, the copper supplier is coming back in. That's kind of fun. So where is the Fixite Trigon? It really is way over here, huh? So this would be it down here. And it looks like it might be taking off or just sitting there. It seems to just be sitting there in the drone port. Alright, no, it has taken off and it is returning. Cool. So we'll be able to see now if that works. And we should take that fuel out to see, because I suspect the answer will be that it is going to need more fuel on this end. Now, I don't want to mess with it by having like an unneeded extra boost on this end, which would make it look like it's working. I just want it to come over here and get stuck again because of no fuel. And if and when that happens, it's an easy fix. I just have to put another fuel depot on this side so that it is getting fuel from both ends and won't get stuck. And that'll probably be it there. It's coming along. And nope, different drone. Alright. Fair enough. That aluminum drone is moving fast. I feel like I've seen that like twice before this one has made it all the way back. Where? Where are you? Did you show up while I was in the menu? No? Is that it? Coming from that side for some reason? Yes. Alright, so this will show up now, and we'll see if it gets stuck or not. Should deposit a whole load of trigons either way. There goes the aluminum one. Alright, so yeah, the time crystal is backed up there and starting to back up there. So the reason it's backed up here is because it's straight up not working. Alright, time crystals have been deposited. Alright, it is taking off. So I think that means it's fine. I don't know why that would break one time but not another. I'm gonna preemptively build that fuel source anyway. Oh, hang on. We need that hole in the floor. That's an important hole in the floor. Alright. Give me a drone port. And say this is fixite fuel backup. And then take the output, we feed it into that input. We give it a drone. We tell it to go to the fuel source. Just a regular fuel source, thank you. And then we power it on. Give it a starter pack of fuel, and it has to go like 5 feet down that way. So that should be fine. And in the meantime, it does look like the supercomputers are working. Alright, so that is 2 pretty significant production lines set up through the power of using things I already had. And just to confirm, nothing is backing up here. This is still at 100%. And these are also at 100%. Time crystals are going to be a bit wacky, but they should be working just fine. Alright, so that is that, and that is that. So these are what, neural quantum processors, are up to 70 of those. And superposition oscillators, we're up to 20 of those. So now let's head back to the hub and see if we can unlock anything with the current quantities. Alright, the hub is up there by the Space Needle. Space Elevator. Why do I always call it the Space Needle? So just cruise along this way. Don't faceplant into a tree, whatever you do. Carefully maneuver past them. And be a bit careful with fuel reserves. Alright. We managed to make it. And now we drop through some holes in the floor to get down to the hub. So that needs 100 neural quantum processors. Don't have that yet. Can't do that. That needs 100 superposition oscillators. Don't have that. Can't do it. This requires like a silly amount of iron plates and aluminum sheets. And also some other stuff which is easier. I guess we can set that up. The iron plates are here. Oh, we're gonna need to clear out our inventory big time for this. And I don't know about the aluminum sheets, whether we'll actually have enough. Gonna have to take so much random junk out. Goodbye stators and rotors. Goodbye cables. Goodbye motors. I need like 3 whole rows. Leaves and biomass, not necessary. Monster parts, not necessary. Let's just start grabbing these things and see what happens. The fact that I also need 5,000 sheets is crazy. Alright. So let's start throwing these in. And all of that was almost 5,000. Please let me in. And we're going to need to wait for ages for more of them to turn up. For now, let's just get the time crystals and fixite trigons into the mix. So those are dealt with. Now we need to clear our inventory a little bit more. Don't need those, or those, or those, or those. And now let's head down to grab every all-clad aluminum sheet we have ever made. So those should be by a lake in the Red Forest. And there they are. It's a nice quick jump over. Alright. And that's going to be this box here, which conveniently we needed to empty out anyway. All according to plan. That is that. And then there's that secondary box, which hasn't been filled yet, which is waiting on all of that to be finished before it will even start filling. So if this isn't 5,000, I'm in a lot of trouble. And even if it is 5,000, it's going to be a while before we get more coming into the dimensional storage. I feel like I had a hypertube cannon for this return journey. I should have checked or built one. We do not have much horizontal momentum right now. Let's try to get some. Please let me slide. Thank you. Alright, so I'm probably gonna have to let this AFK slightly to stabilize all these stuff that I've just taken massive quantities out of. So that'll be fine though. We're almost there. Alright, so now we are back at the blueprint machine, which means the hub is right here. Alright, now we start throwing aluminum sheets in. Please be enough. Oh my gosh. It's 103 short. And it is going to be... Wait, hang on. I have some still in the dimensional storage. No. Alright. So that is good to go. Now we just need to wait for the iron plates to show up. Which is going to be ages. Could be actually forever. Can this go any faster? There's some stuck on the belts. Why is that? Let's make those belts Mark II 20, 40, 60. So this should be 80. Alright, do the math. 5,000 divided by 80 is 62.5 minutes. So that'll take like an hour to fill back up. That's fine. We we could speed that up with summer sloops. And I suppose I will. And there's one thing that I do not need, and it is this. I have such a preposterous amount of power, I do not need the extra, like, 10% there. Yeah, so big drop, but completely irrelevant compared to how much power I have. And now I can run through and sloop all of these constructors. So now instead of taking an hour, it'll take half an hour. Which means, conveniently, that it'll be done in time for the end of the stream. While we're doing that, we can also get cheeky and sloop these smelters, which will allow us to overclock those machines. So now we're getting 60, 120. Alright. We're going to need faster pelts for this. I haven't done the math, but Mark IV should be more than enough. Alright, so it is 60, 120, 180, 240. Which means that we should be able to put 2 power shards in each of these. And speed them up even more. So now we... How much is this producing now? 80 times 4, so 320. These are going to need Mark IV belts. And the Mark IV belts will go all the way into this storage container, but not onto this, because we don't want them going that way. Because anything that goes that way will just be wasted. So now we're getting like 300... So minus 60, it's like 280 a minute. No, 260 a minute. So 5,000 divided by 260 a minute is like 20 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. So, what else is there to do? Am I good on Mercer Spheres? Yes, I have 19 Mercer Spheres. That is more than I could ever use. I can run over here and try to find some more summer sloops that end up just stuck in machines. Alright, do any of these machines have summer sloops in them? That one, no. How about this one? Yes, the nuclear pasta. Speaking of nuclear pasta, that's going to take forever. We may as well... This is the pressure conversion cube machine, right? We may as well restart this. So we put fuse modular frames and radio control units in here. And radio control units, doesn't matter which one. Fuse modular frames in that one. And radio control units in this one. And so then that will turn those into pressure conversion cubes. There is been a horrible mistake. There is some sort of turbo motor in there for some reason. So we're going to have to delete that and replace it. I'm not sure how a turbo motor of all things got onto that line. But we are now officially producing nuclear pasta again. Just because that is like 1,000 of this stuff is going to take forever to make otherwise. And so we may as well get some of it out of the way now while it's convenient to do so. That needs 0.5 a minute. This is producing 2 a minute. Alright. So we're just going to leave that running for a bit. We need so much nuclear pasta. And hopefully I'll remember to come back by and refill it every so often. In the meantime, speaking of refilling, let's take some more of these iron plates and refill that. With 19 Mercer spheres, I could increase dimensional depot stack size or get manual depot uploader or both. I guess I'll do those. Manual depot uploader, check.
Manual depot uploader unlocked. Storage dimension and pocket dimension now connected both ways and stable. Parts can now be uploaded to the storage dimension directly from the inventory. Note, the storage dimension now understands the boundaries of the pocket dimension and recognizes the distinction between matter belonging to the Pioneer's inventory and matter belonging to the Pioneer.
Very interesting.
The window within the shallows within the deep, curling around itself separately, echoes strangely.
I'm sure strange is the correct term for what this must feel like to you.
Alright, now we can get another stack in the depot. So that is going to temporarily turn on like every factory.
Dimensional expansion increased to 300%. New understanding of matter manipulation technology allows the dimensional storage to deconstruct all matter to the subatomic
definitely
level,
going up
storing
now.
its elementary particles until the part is recalled.
You are digging into deeper layers. Shallow matter contains window symphonies and void songs and deep echoes.
It is fascinating what one can find out simply by looking closer.
Alright. What else can we do while we're around here? Oh right, these are going to also need faster belts just to get their stuff onto the main belt. It doesn't look like any of them quite got to the point where that was a problem. They're all still reading 100%, but easily could have happened. So now this belt here is running at full capacity. And it will be for a while. All these all empty out their excess. Alright, anything else that I can do? I guess check the MAM. I could unlock more upgrades. I don't really need to be better at fighting though. I could finally learn to scan for power slugs. I could unlock mycelium weaponry. Priority power switch. Yeah, I don't really care about any of that stuff. I have all of the hard drive recipes currently available to me. And it looks like the dimensional storage has filled up. And yeah, I think you can see like the moment where consumption plummeted. So almost still working on getting all of this stuff out. Bloop, 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 bloop. Up to 7,500. And while we're doing this, the other things are also being produced. So I guess we should probably find something meaningful to do for like the next 10 minutes instead of just hopping around. I guess I can check to make sure that this stuff is being produced at all. Yep, nuclear pasta is being fired up. It seems like none of it has quite gotten in to the thing yet. Yeah, no, there's the first batch there. And I guess oh, hang on. Those are the turbo motors. So they're like the same color as black and yellow as the radio control units. So they must have gotten them mixed up at some point. Speaking of radio control units, let's throw another couple of stacks of those in. Not turbo motors. And another couple stacks of fused frames. Throw those in. And this is like 250 fused frames, which gets doubled to 500 pressure conversion cubes, which get doubled to 1,000 nuclear pasta. So I think like already that is enough fused frames for this whole thing. Although I think we are going to need more radio control units because they're 2 to 1. 100, 200, 100, 200, 250, 275. There's like another 50 in there, so that's like 300. So let's throw another 100 in there, and that's probably. We can probably just leave that and eventually have all the nuclear pasta we need. So that's fun. It's a useful thing to get squared away real quick. Now let's grab some more iron. And then maybe start thinking about the other project parts. Nuclear pasta. Just have to get into this by any means. So the other thing we need a huge amount of are the biomechanical sculptors, which are assembly director systems and fixite trigons and water. So that is going to need supercomputers, and so it's 1 to 4. We need 1,000 of them, which means we need 250 supercomputers. So we need 250 supercomputers, which means... But no, that's actually not true, because we are summer slooping it. Is it? So this is 1-to-1. So we need 120... So we need... This is base 1-to-4, so we would need 250 of those. But actually we're summer slooping it. So it's 1-to-8, so we need 125 of these. And then this... The assembler... So we would need 125 supercomputers, but we're summer slooping those as well. So we actually need like 60-ish, 70-ish supercomputers for that. And 125 of those other things, which is not that many adaptive control units. It's a huge multi-step process, which I may as well get started on now, because I think I still have machines set up for it. Is that what this is? No, that's thermal propulsion rocket. Is it the next floor up that has those machines? No, so this is the adaptive control unit, which is making assembly director systems. And this is slooped, by the way. It has supercomputers in it already. So this, we need to throw in more computers to get this running. So let's fire that up. And we don't need these to be stuck into the space elevator. We just need to box them. And let's throw another stack of supercomputers in there. So that should be enough supercomputers. Oh wait, that's the wrong box. That's awkward. The supercomputers are supposed to go in this box so that they don't end up on the same belt. It's fine for now because it's not full. That's being slooped. Is this being slooped? No, it's not. But it's fine. We're not actually doing proper production for these things at the moment. We're just sort of throwing stuff in as we have it. A couple hundred of each of those. Automated wiring needs more cable. This needs like a lot of cable, right? Yeah. Let's see if we can actually... Did we ever set... I think we broke this, right? I think at some point we stopped having this whole setup be functional. Oh right, it must have broken in it. So this all must have broken when the drone setup broke. So this needs stators as well, which is this box. So let's throw a couple stacks of those in. And while we're here standing over it, we can throw a couple stacks of cables in here. So we're just getting things started so that we don't have just quite so much standing around to do when we actually get working on doing all of those things. Alright, so let's see. This should finish this. Yep. Alright, we have achieved peak efficiency.
Milestone reached. After close scrutiny, two problems were identified in Mark V conveyor belts. The first was the belt part, so force fields have been implemented in the Mark VI instead, to maximize transfer speeds.
That sounds
The
fun.
second problem is inefficient pioneers, but sadly no remedy is available for this severe impediment. Yet.
Alright, so now we have all the iron we need, which means we can... Oh, that was a different set of smelters. Right, so we can take all of these sloops back and put them into the space elevator production lines instead. So we are back up to a normal amount of sloops. And we can head over here to throw these in. So this is the ACU. It requires more automated wiring. So that is slooped. This can be slooped, and now it is. So we are now storing up assembly directory systems, which are really the only interesting thing needed for the biochemical sculptors. We also need fixite trigons and water, but we'll deal with those later. For now, I guess we should check to see if we can unlock those things. The last two project parts are under spatial energy. No, well, just the last project part is under this. And we need 100 superposition oscillators, which we do not have. And we need 1,000 SAM fluctuators. Did I just move around? Which we do not currently have. So let's... Oh, right. We have to wait for the pod. We're also going to need to wait on radio control units and not really turbo motors, just a little bit. Really, it's the SAM fluctuators that we're going to be sitting around waiting for. And of course the oscillators, but that goes without saying. So yeah, I think we should be good to go. Actually, well, what other previous project parts can we get set up on for this? It needs magnetic field generators. We need versatile frameworks and electromagnetic control rods. Was that this? That smart plating. Alright, those were the old, like, first or second project thing. This is thermal propulsion units. That's not what we're looking for. I think these ones were up here. Yeah, look at those electromagnetic control rods. And then this makes the versatile frameworks, which needs modular frames and steel beams. Seems to have some modular frames. So we will get it hooked up on steel beams and modular frames. So that can start cooking again. The electromagnetic control rods need stators and high-speed connectors. So this gets some of those, this gets some of those, and we can sloop it, and we can sloop that. And we are one summer sloop short of slooping this, which is the thing we actually need. We actually don't need that many of these, right? Hang on. Let me check. So we need AI expansion servers, and it's 1-to-1, and we only need 256. Yeah, it's probably fine. It is probably fine not to sloop it right now. Is there anything else we can take a sloop off of? Copper powder, I guess. Alright, now that probably means the copper powder isn't going to be sufficient to make nuclear pasta. That needs 100 per minute. And how much is this producing? 80 per minute? I mean, we have so much backed up that that'll take forever to fully empty. And that is doing fine. We shouldn't have problems with electromagnetic control rods. It's the versatile frameworks which are going to be more annoying because it needs so many steel beams. And then whatever we need for the missile thing, the missile-looking things are going to be fun. And what else do we need for this? Just some of those and some of those. And some excited photonic matter, which is all easy enough. We're gonna have to stockpile them, obviously, but we have production lines for all of those, except for the photonic matter, which is trivial. Grab some more SAM fluctuators. And the superposition oscillators are up to 60. I think we're getting 1 a minute, so that'll be another 40 minutes. Alright, so I think we've made good progress today. We set up 2 production lines and have semi-reactivated our space elevator parts. So I think we're going to call it here for today. Made good progress, but we're gonna need to let some stuff run just for getting spatial energy regulation. And so yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, wait another singular minute so I can start putting this stuff in, but yeah, make sure to follow if you've been enjoying. I'll be playing Magic the Gathering tomorrow and back to Satisfactory the day after. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5. And yeah, still working on YouTube Shorts. Those will be coming in the future, probably. Alright. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna end it here. I will see you guys tomorrow or on Friday,